Well, guys, new comic book day is almost here. It's time to take a look at the books coming out Wednesday, March 30th, so I can tell you what I'm getting. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. Now, on this channel, I talk about comics, so if you like comics like I do, then maybe you should consider subscribing to the channel. This is the latest in the series that I like to call What I'm Getting, where I tell you which books I'm buying in the coming up week, what's on the chopping block, and what's on the maybe list that I'll be making a game day decision on. There are a lot of good books coming out this week and some new series debuting, but the price tags are a little steep, so I definitely got to cut some issues off of this list if I want to stay under my $50 budget for the week. Now, I always like to start with the book that I'm most excited for. Before I do, gotta give a huge shout out to Ultimate Comics. My LCS, they've got 4 locations in the Raleigh area. So if you're looking for comic books, back issues, statues, Funko Pops, all sorts of other collectibles, walk into their Raleigh, Cary, Durham, or Crabtree Valley Mall locations. Tell them I sent you. Have a great time. You'll have a great experience with the super knowledgeable and friendly staff. So that's awesome. But if you're not local to our area, no worries. You can shop 24/7 at ultimatecomics.com and twice a week on their Facebook live show. So hope to see you there every Tuesday and Thursday night. Thanks again, Ultimate Comics, for sponsoring this video. Now, it's time for me to tell you what I'm getting. And by the way, I have to apologize. This video is a little late because I was watching my Tar Heels punch their ticket to the Final Four. Let's go. Let's beat Duke. Now we can talk about the book I'm most excited for. And this week is a brand new #1 from Marvel Comics. We're talking about the Immortal X-Men #1. Immortal X-Men, written by Kieran Gillen. It's got artwork by Lucas Wernick, which is a name I'm not familiar with, so I'm pretty sure this is the first time I will be experiencing this person's art. Now, Immortal X-Men, one of the best things about this whole Krakoa era, the Hickman era, has been the political drama, the political theater. You've got all these mutants, they're on an island together, but I mean, everyone's there. You got Mr. Sinister, you got Sebastian Shaw, you got people who were not viewed as necessarily allies. They were mutants that were against, the good guys in Xavier and others, right? So one thing that I've been excited to watch has been like this political drama, the secrets, the ulterior motives. And that's in many ways has taken the place of a lot of the action and external threats that we've been seeing to Krakoa. So I'm excited to get into this series, which is laser focused on the Quiet Council and all the secrets and lies and drama. Sounds like I'm describing a soap opera. I promise I'm not. It's some of the best comics on shelves, and I'm hoping this series lives up to the hype. This one's got a cover price of $5.99, paying that X-Men tax and that debut issue tax. But I'm just getting that cover A by Mark Brooks. And since we're talking about Marvel Comics, let's go ahead to the rest of the list, starting with a finale we've been waiting for a long time. A long time indeed. This is the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 93. We have finally come to the end of the Beyond saga. Peter Parker versus Ben Reilly for all the marbles. Now, this is important because this is going to be the last issue of this volume of Spider-Man. So after this month, they're starting Amazing Spider-Man over with a brand new #1, which is exciting, very much exciting. And that one's going to be a new series written by Zeb Wells, I believe. Is it Zeb Wells? I don't know. I'm tripping. I'm blanking on the names, but I believe it's Zeb Wells with art by John Romita Jr. So that's going to be exciting, but we got to wrap up this Beyond storyline first, and we'll see. Does this finale, is it going to carry over, story into the new volume? We'll find out. This one's got a cover price of $5.99, but they're saying it's a double-sized issue, so hopefully it's worth it. I'm getting the cover A. And next up from Marvel Comics is another conclusion. This is Dark Ages #6. Dark Ages, written by Tom Taylor, artwork by Iban Coelho. It's been a pretty good series. I gotta admit, it hasn't been packing like the same punch that I would expect from a Tom Taylor Elseworlds miniseries, but it is good. It is good. It is exciting. We're getting some pretty cool stuff on the page. Like, for example, in the last issue, we had Miles Morales being taken over by the Venom and Carnage symbiote at the same time. So you're getting cool stuff. You're still getting stuff tugging at the heartstrings, but something about it isn't connecting with me the way other Tom Taylor Elseworld stories have. Either way, I'm excited for this conclusion to see how it all ends, and maybe issue 6 changes my mind. That one's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm just getting the cover A. Next up is a book from Donny Cates. This is Hulk number 5. Donny Cates' Hulk has been really interesting. It's my first experience with Hulk, and I feel like I'm not getting the Hulk everybody else got. We're in this Starship Hulk story, which has transported our Bruce Banner into like another dimension. We could call it the Hulkverse. We met like this Black Hulk, Null type figure. It was like the god of the Hulk, right? And in the last issue, we got a real big surprise with a Spider Hulk, right? Like this, it's just Hulks all over the place. It's interesting. There's a world where all the heroes that we know and love ended up just being like either non-existent or some version of the Hulk. So this is shaping up to be a really weird story. It's definitely a departure from everything else on the pull list, which makes it fun. So I'm excited to continue the series. It's got a cover price of $3.99, and I'm getting the cover A. And speaking of the Hulk, we got another brand new number 1. This is Hulk Grand Design Monster number 1. Now, if you watch the channel Cartoonist Kayfabe, you've probably seen this book hyped up for, months at this point. But basically, this will be my first Grand Design title. They've had others in the past, like Fantastic Four Grand Design or X-Men Grand Design, where you get these oversized issues that will kind of do like a condensed history of the character. So we're going to see like classic Hulk mature over these 2 issues. We got Hulk Grand Design Monster, which is out this week, and Hulk Grand Design Madness, which is out in a month or so. So that's going to be exciting. I'm excited to get into that. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from Jim Rugg's artwork, at least on his YouTube channel. This will be my first time picking up any of his actual comic book work. This one is an oversized book. It's got a cover price of $5.99. I'm just getting the cover A. And the last book on the Marvel Comics pull list this week is Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 36. I can't even lie. This one's on the chopping block this week because, I've been picking up Spider-Man or Miles Morales since the Clone Saga started back in issue 25. And it's been up and down for me. Like I kind of drop in and out. I've been reading them all lately because they all tie into this Beyond saga with the Amazing Spider-Man. But I don't think this week's issue is a tie-in. And honestly, the series isn't moving me enough to make me like want to read it immediately when it comes out. So I'm probably going to drop this title and catch it on Marvel Unlimited later on in the next, 3 months, I think is when it comes out. So yeah, I'm dropping Miles Morales. That's got a cover price of $3.99. You're looking at the cover A. And that's going to do it for my Marvel Comics. So if I don't cut out Miles Morales, we're looking at a total of $30 on the Marvel side, which surprisingly is more than my DC total for the week. And that's almost never the case. But speaking of DC Comics, let's go ahead and start the list, right? We've got DC versus Vampires number 6. DC versus Vampires written by Matthew Rosenberg with a little help from James Tynion IV. It's a really fun concept. It's vampires taking over the DC universe. We're trying to figure out who in the Justice League is a vampire. Are they throwing us for a loop? Is Batman really a vampire the whole time? I don't know. We got like 6 more issues before we find out, but I've been enjoying it. One thing I will say is the artwork in issue 5. They had 2 different artists and the artwork didn't necessarily match with each other. So that was a weird experience. Hopefully they got that fixed this time around. But either way, the story's been progressing well and I like the dialogue. So I'm going to keep it on the list. This one has a cover price of $3.99 and I'm getting the cover A. Next up, is the dawn of a new era. A brand new era for Batman. We're getting into the Joshua Williamson era. And I'm excited. This is the Shadow War Alpha #1. Joshua Williamson is starting his time on Batman with a crossover. This is Batman, Deathstroke, and Robin are all going to be crossing over in this event called the Shadow War. And it all starts with this Alpha issue. Now, would I really pick up all these books if Joshua Williamson wasn't like architecting the whole DC universe? Yes, because I'm a Batman fan and the only book that's not already on the pull list is Deathstroke Incorporated. So I might as well go ahead and grab this Alpha issue. DC's kind of been letting me down with big Batman events. I'm hoping that this is the one that kind of raises the bar a little bit. But anyway, this one's got a cover price of $5.99. This better be worth it. But it's got a cover price of $5.99. I'm getting the cover A. And that's actually it for my DC Comics pull list. So if I just stick to that list, my DC Comics are going to cost me $10 this week. Not bad. Not bad at all. But let's move into the independent and creator-owned titles where we're probably going to have to trim some fat. Let's start with a book that I really love. This is Radiant Black, issue number 13. Radiant Black was like a sleeper hit last year. I started reading it just before my daughter was born, just around a year ago, actually, which makes sense because it's issue 13. But anyway, started reading it just before my daughter was born. I got to binge read it. I've been reading it in like 4 issue spurts this entire time. So I'm a little bit behind. I'm a little behind on Radiant Black, but the series has a lot of heart, a lot of action. And it's like the superhero book for you if you're not into like big 2, super heavy continuity type stuff. So I've been enjoying the series, but it's been spinning out into quite a few other books, which we'll talk about in a second. So I'm like kind of on the fence. Like, do I continue Radiant Black and just cut the tie-in books, or do I just cut them all and like just, move to trades on it since it's taking me so long to read them anyway? But for now, Radiant Black is safe on the pull list. Issue 13's got a cover price of $3.99. I'm just getting the cover A. And that leads us directly into the next book. This is Rogue Sun, issue number 2. Like I said, I feel like I went to sleep and woke up and all of a sudden Radiant Black had like 4 other series and one-shots around it. And I haven't read any of them, which is like, okay, do I keep these books on the pull list, or do I just go ahead and cut my losses and pick these ancillary titles up in trade or digitally or some other way? So Rogue Sun number 2, since I have not read number 1, it's going on the chopping block this week. So that's going to save me a little bit of money, hopefully. But Rogue Sun has a cover price of $3.99, and you're looking at the cover A. And that leads me to the next book, which is Spawn, issue 328. I'm running out of reasons to justify having Spawn on the pull list. And if that wasn't enough, Todd McFarlane just announced that they're going to be actually starting up a regular schedule for trade paperbacks and hardcovers of Spawn. So if you were like me and you had the excuse that, well, Spawn doesn't get collected in trade, so you might as well pick up the single issues and they're cheap. Well, yeah, that was my excuse too until that announcement was made. I'll probably keep Spawn on the pull list for a few more issues until I see something hit solicitations, but I don't know, Spawn, your days might be numbered on the pull list. This one's got a cover price of $2.99. I'm getting cover A. And the next book on my pull list this week is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue 127. I'm also behind on Ninja Turtles, partially because I was already behind, but then Diamond was doing like weird things with the shipments. So I got the last 2 issues of Ninja Turtles at the same time, like a week and a half ago. So I needed to go ahead and read it. I wanted to start out with the whole cyberpunk or Teenage Mutant Punk Frogs, and I still got time to catch up on those before issue 127 comes out this week. So that's what I'm going to do. You're looking at the cover A right now, which has a cover price of $3.99. The Eastman cover hasn't gone live yet, but I usually end up liking it better. So that's probably the one I'm going to go ahead and get. But yeah, $3.99 on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And speaking of the Ninja Turtles, here's a book that I'm excited about, but I'm like, this price tag. Looking at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles annual for 2022. It's a one-shot, of course. It's an annual. But this one has a story and artwork by Juni Ba. Now, I wasn't familiar with Juni Ba until very recently. He's got a title out with Image called Monkey Meat. It's a little bit more mature, so I haven't been reading that one. But he did one of the backup stories in Black Panther issue number 3. And that backup story, I really thoroughly enjoyed. I liked it a lot. It reminded me of like the old African trickster tales. And not to mention, the art was awesome. So a one-shot featuring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with art by Juni Ba is something that I'm pretty hype about. But the one thing that's keeping me from saying I'm definitely grabbing this issue is the cover price, which is $6.99. Man, it's got a cover price of $6.99. If I buy it, I'm getting the cover A, but that's definitely on the maybe list. So my indie books this week, if I buy everything on the list, they're going to cost me $22. But I don't think I'm buying everything on the list. I think I'm definitely cutting Rogue Sun. And I don't know. With Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles annual, we're just going to have to see how this Whatnot sale goes. I might have some extra funds to spend, and I might just, let everything sit on the pull list. Anyway, speaking of Whatnot, this Monday, which is tomorrow, March 28th, I'm going live on Whatnot at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going to be selling off the majority of the duplicates from my Milestone Media collection. Now, I've been going through all my short boxes, making sure I don't have a ton of duplicates or whatever. And so I've pulled out all my Milestone stuff. There's about 50 single issues, including a couple copies. Let's see what we got here. Probably shouldn't have put these on top of my regular comics, but I got this issue of Heroes number 3, Long Hot Summer number 1, that nice little, I don't know, what are we calling that, chromium cover. Here's a Hardware number 1 collector's edition. Here's a Hardware number 2. And these are just a few of the books that are going to be up for grabs. Now, every purchase is going to get an extra book from my single issue collection that's not a Milestone. And everyone who buys on this live stream tomorrow night is going to go home with a sealed 8-pack of Milestone Media Skybox trading cards. I've been going all out trying to make sure I got enough inventory for this sale. I hope to see you there tomorrow night, Monday, March 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you don't have a Whatnot account, go ahead and hit the link in the description below. They will actually give you a $10 spending credit that you can use on the show tomorrow. It's free money. Just saying. So definitely hope to see you there. But anyway, now that we talked about that, let's talk about my grand total. And if I stayed under budget, I already told you, I already spoiled it, right? If I buy every book that I've showed you today, then I'm going to spend a grand total of $62. Now that's before taxes and before my 10% subscriber discount, which means I need to at least let go of one book. So if I let go of all the books that I'm thinking of letting go of, which would be Miles Morales, Rogue Sun, and if I skip out on that Ninja Turtles annual, I'm only going to be paying $47. And that's before taxes and discounts as well. So definitely need to cut these books. The only one that I'm like, I gotta keep it on the pull list or that I'm leaning toward is that Ninja Turtles annual. But we'll see. Now, if you want to help me out, definitely join that Whatnot sale tomorrow night. And then I can buy every book on my list. But if not, it's all good. Now, what's on your pull list this week? What are the new number ones you're trying out? I know there's like a sensational Wonder Woman one-shot coming out. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm not buying because my pull list is already stacked. But I'm curious to know what you guys are grabbing this week, what you're excited about that's on my list, and what you're like, hey, yo, Kicks, just stop buying that book. Should I finally stop buying Spawn? Let me know in the comments below. Hope to see you guys tomorrow night at the Whatnot sale. And thanks again, Ultimate Comics, for sponsoring what I'm getting. I hope to see you guys in another video very soon. Until then, I hope you saw something you liked in this one. If not, that's cool. You can always buy what you like. Just make sure you read what you buy. And be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.